A lot of folks, they go through daily life in a routine and they want to be left alone in that routine. They want to hold on to that relief. And because of this, they become unaware of the things that are happening around them. Now, I'm not telling you to be aware of everything that happens around you. That's impossible, physically or mentally. So that's not what I'm aiming at. But a lot of folks are, let me say, when they enter into the public transport, they go deep into their phone and very deep. You see them like this all the time. And you come in the train or in the bus, you sit down next to them and say hello or hi, and you're like, oh hi. Or they look weird and they go deep into their phone again. They are escaping their environment, they're going into their device. Or they have their headphones on or earphones in, and they are listening to hard music. And some are just staring ahead of them. They don't even know that they are there. This is something I witnessed. I witnessed it on multiple places in the world, not only in this country. I witnessed this in Japan, in Korea also. I witnessed this in Austria. I witnessed this in Germany last time I was there. I witnessed this in many places. Now, before there was social media, before there was before there was this boom in technology, people used to operate in avoidance also. They did it with newspapers or with activities. It comes down to people tend to lock themselves up from what's going on around them. That's a tendency a lot of people have. And as a believer, I'm telling you, you need to unlearn this. When you go outside to go to the supermarket, just check around you. I'm not telling you to begin to become a spy, that you, like James Bond, are going to look what people are doing. No, I'm not telling you to do that. But just pay attention. If you have to walk a half a mile or a half kilometer, or maybe a kilometer to the supermarket, just look around a bit to the houses while going to the supermarket. And when you're coming back on the same way, look around again. It can be that you notice something over there that others don't. Maybe you're passing by and you notice that there's this guy that looks very angry and he's knocking on the door. Then you realize something's about to happen over there. You have your mobile phone with you, so you can call the cops to say that, man, police officer or policeman, I see something very weird here. I'm not telling you to get involved with what you see happening, but at least there's someone that can call for emergency in case something goes wrong. And how come you're aware? Because you are alert. Don't you realize that a lot of crime happens because people are not alert? Don't you realize that a lot of people go missing, they're kidnapped because people are not alert? Don't you realize a lot of child molestation happens because relatives are not alert? Look, you have to be alert concerning your environment where you are. I'm not telling you to get involved in everything that's going on. That's burdensome onto yourself. No, that's not, but you ought to be alert about your environment. And here's the thing. It's only when violence appears, whether in the form of a bank, or not a bank robber, in the form of a robber that wants to rob a store, or in the form of someone that tells you your face they don't like you, and they just look for an excuse to act out their pain. It's only when violence appears we think, oh, this violence, what do we do about it? Or, no. You're not going to live in fear because violence exists out there. No. Violence out there ought to be afraid of you. And how does violence and the negative out there becomes afraid of you? When you operate in the supernatural, when you agree with Christ and operate in that agreement. You do that day and night. Let me say like this. You operate in the prophetic anointing of Christ. Read Revelation chapter 22. It says that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So you operate in that spirit of prophecy by agreeing with Christ, and you prophesy biblical health and biblical health upon you, you agree that no matter what's going on, when things are going at ease or when things are rough, you do it all the time. Because the mentality of worldly people is that when things are at ease, they take it easy. They don't want to be bothered. There's no attached that relief. As a believer, you shouldn't have that. No. You are operating on the spiritual offensive every day. Don't you realize that when you operate in the spiritual offensive, that there are a lot of stuff that will come in your way, but they can't reach you? It can be that at the job, they were about to file a complaint against you, a false report of sexual harassment. But because you operate in supernatural, there was a computer crash. And the computer crash caused the file to be deleted. So every time you went to complain about you, to file a report against you, which was a false report, but anytime a group of people went to file a false report against you, it failed. Or it can be that you have a cousin that often comes to your house. And you think, why does cousin come to my house so often? Here's the deal. That cousin has people from the streets that want to beat him up. So he doesn't want to become the target of violence, but that cousin realizes that every time you are around, those violent people become frightened. And those violent people tend to go away. And because those people in the streets often saw that cousin of yours associates with you, they're now kind of frightened of that cousin also. That's why that cousin keeps coming to your house. Because the cousin feels that there's power there with you. And with that power, there's protection, there's safety. That's why that cousin keeps coming over there. So you may ask, cousin, why do you keep coming to my house? I mean, go out with your friends to have fun. The cousin isn't telling you what's happening because the cousin thinks that you may become upset. Because the cousin also knows that there are people out there in the neighborhood that are looking weird at you, angry at you, but they never dare to open their mouths against you. Because the cousin has witnessed when people were walking towards you to teach you a lesson, man, they either fell down to the ground or were thrown away meters away, or in their own homes, things begin to break. So your cousin knows that there is some power behind just why your cousin is there. You're operating in the supernatural. Look, in the world you have self-fulfilling prophecies. And a self-fulfilling prophecy is an outcome that people brought upon themselves because they believed in that outcome. Short example, if you think that you're not worthy to be loved or whatever, you tend to behave in a depressed manner. Because with that idea comes the thought that people are avoiding you. And because of that, now you have this, this negative sad expression. And this negative sad expression now scaring people off. So indeed, people are now avoiding you and prefer not to hang out with you. And then you think, you see, I'm not lovable. Nobody wants me. But here's the thing. That outcome is manifesting because you are investing and financing that stronghold. Another thing. In the mass media, for example, they say often the Moroccans are criminals. That's the image they present in the media over and over again. So after a while, a lot of people in the population began to believe that most Moroccans are criminals. Even though the percentage of Moroccans, of the Moroccan community involved in criminality is below 4%. That's just a few hundred guys out there doing their crazy stuff. And even most of them aren't even in deep criminality. They just want to be tough. So the amount of Moroccans in reality that are involved in criminality is very low. But now because the people, though to the media, believe Moroccans are criminals, Moroccans now in that society have difficulty getting jobs. On schools, teachers began to treat them more harsh because they think those can be criminals. I need to teach them not to become criminals now. So now the Moroccan community is affected by it. And now from within the Moroccan community, you have this resistance to prove that they are not criminals. So when those Moroccans who want to prove that they are not criminals, see others that are scapegoated, they tend to avoid them, saying, I'm not like those Moroccans, because they want validation. So now within the Moroccan community, you have division. This division will hinder cooperation. And also towards the outside, Moroccans are facing discrimination now due to the media. So now you have a small group of Moroccans now who are suffering because of this, who face all kinds of disadvantages. So they join groups to support one another, and those groups tend to get help from criminals, so they become involved in illegal activity, and this grows. And what's going to happen after like 2 or 3 years? There's a lot of unemployment among Moroccans, and there's an increase in criminality amongst them. And then people are going to say, you see? Moroccans are criminals. Most of them are. You can't trust them. What's happening? That outcome is maintained and sustained by people energizing that thinking pattern that the media presented onto them. So actually they are prophesying, but not in agreement with Christ. I hope you can follow me here. So as a believer, when you agree with Christ, you're operating in the self-fulfilling prophecy in line with the word. And the self-fulfilling prophecy of the word is that it's all the promises of the Most High in His word working out on your behalf. That's what it means to walk by faith. So when the word says that you're healthy because Christ took all your sicknesses and diseases, you believe it. So anytime there's an attack upon your body, you agree with health. You agree with divine health. You can go to a doctor if you want. I'm not prohibiting you. You can go to hospital, check things out, but you agree with Christ. You agree with your health. And what's going to happen now? That tension, those tensions around your body, that's caused sickness, are now disappearing. So now you have the outcome that you're operating in divine health, in Christ's health. Christ's health is working out in you. It's not even your own health, it's His health works out through you. Abundance. Christ came to give life and life more abundantly, so you agree with abundance. So now, when you're looking for a job, even though you didn't find a job immediately, you were now referred to, yet someone comes to you referring you to a course, and now you have taken a course, now you've met new people, and those people helping you further, and now you get a job somewhere at the Ministry of Finance, even though you're not qualified to work over there, but now you have a job over there for something, not for a high position, but you can just work over there. And from there, you learn tricks, how the market operates. So now you're operating as an entrepreneur, you have your own business. So what's going on now? You've agreed with abundance. That includes financial abundance. Financial abundance is not the center, but financial abundance is involved. You agree with it, and so now it's working out through the circumstances, despite all the resistance and despite all the troubles around you. Look, people say you shouldn't speak things into existence. That's occult. Listen, the occult is a cheap counterfeit of the original. But a lot of people are more afraid of the counterfeit than they have confidence in the original. There are people in the world, they go to the paranormal, and they agree with the paranormal, and because of that, they get relief in finances. That's why when they open a business, they get a lot of customers. That's why when they walk somewhere, they're not bothered by people because they have this demonic shield around them that keeps bad energy at a distance. That's why they can walk through a ghetto and none of the people are looking for a fight with them. But there's the thing, they agree with what they're involved with. But a lot of believers have difficulty agreeing with Christ because they have all those Christian thinking patterns that they've received by their upbringing or by the world around them, which contains a lot of expectations that are not in line with Christ, but because it carries the label Christian and is supported by Bible verses, people embrace it without evaluating it. So a lot of believers are not in agreement with Christ. But people in the world that follow demons, they are in agreement with the demons. And the relief works out for them, but of course there are plagues involved because it's a paranormal. That's a cheap counterfeit. And they agree and they put their trust in that counterfeit. And they don't know it's a counterfeit. They think it's the real thing. Well, you believer, you have the original. So stop being afraid of the counterfeit while you have the original in you. It's the counterfeit that should be frightened of you, instead of you having to look out for the counterfeit. Well, that's it for now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.